Hello, Scott and everyone.
Hey, Jennifer, how are you doing?
I'm good. We are having a major wind, rain storm over here in Seattle. I love it. We have such drastic weather.
Oh, gosh. And ours in the San Francisco Bay Area is actually calm and there's nothing to talk about, which is really strange.
Just always 75 degrees.
Yeah. Well, nothing's on fire. That's the first thing in our
Oh
area.
my gosh.
But, it's been
Scott, what's going on with your lighting?
Gee, Jennifer, thank you for pointing that out. The season is changing and my main light is this window, and now I'm getting direct light on me. So I've closed it down a little bit. So this side is supposed to be nice and evenly lit from the outside window. And now it's kind of shut down. So I've got this funky fill light, and that sort of stuff.
Well, you look good. You look good.
It's the trials and tribulations of working from home and speaking on Zoom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've talked about that.
We have.
And we've done it in a very amicable way, but I think there's something else to talk about today, isn't there, Jennifer?
Oh, yes, there is, Scott. And
what are we talking about?
Be a very interesting topic for us. We are going to talk about eye contact when presenting. Do we make eye contact with our audience? Do we focus on other things? That is our topic.
So let me ask you, could you just define it? What is eye contact? Or do you ever have to provide a definition?
Yeah, I would describe eye contact when presenting is showing your audience that you are present, you are putting them first, you have come prepared, and you want to truly engage with them. And I believe that eye contact accomplishes all of those areas.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you would agree with that.
I don't. And I'll tell you why.
I love
because
it.
Here's the thing. Eye contact is, if you were to define it, I would say, it is defined as pointing your pupils in the direction of faces.
Okay.
I mean, do you agree? Is that kind of what we tell people to do? Point your pupils in the direction of a face.
Well, I would never word it that way. I would never say pupils. However, I know what you're getting at. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and so that's my problem, because it's sort of this behavior you do on the outside to signal that you're engaged. And I like to use a different phrase, and I like to tell people, listen with your eyes.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, here's my theory. Most of us learn how to speak really well by imitating the naturally gifted speakers of the world. We see what they do. And of course, these naturally gifted speakers, they point their pupils in the direction of faces. And as listeners, it feels pretty good. We feel this kind of thing, I guess we might describe as engagement.
Okay.
But what's going on in their mind? Are they just pointing their pupils, or are they actually looking and absorbing? I mean, our eyes are not pointing devices. They are receptors.
Okay. So you're referring to, is there emotion behind your eye contact where I feel you're truly connecting with me and not just giving me a blank stare?
Kind of. I would take it a step further and say it's not about the emotion you convey. It's about letting the audience's body language affect you. I think great speakers are great listeners, not in the mechanical way that we typically think, where it's I speak and then you speak and I listen, but more in the way of using their eyes to listen to their audience's body language and posture and facial gestures on a sentence by sentence level. I mean,
Yes.
to really, so I get down on making eye contact because I think there's a way to do it where the emphasis isn't on pointing your eyes and sort of acting like you're engaged, but being actually engaged because you're really emphasizing, I am looking at my listeners. And whether it's consciously reading them, which I don't know that we can do that much, or subconsciously letting their body language affect us, I think that's really important. And that's why I say, listen with your eyes.
It's Scott, it's critical, especially in the virtual environment.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm hearing. It's through our eye contact that we're able to capture the cues that our audience is giving us. Are they engaged? Are they bored? Are they confused? So it's truly, as you're saying, it's listening through your eyes, because your audience is communicating with you,
Yes.
hearing your entire presentation, even when they're not speaking.
Yeah, and don't you see those kind of presenters who seem to be unaware of their audience when they present, even if it's not virtual? I mean, I've literally seen presenters on stage and they're so wrapped up in their head and what they're going to say and looking at their slides, and they never seem to really, they may even be making eye contact.
Yes.
But they never really seem to see the audience. And I sometimes theorize that the whole audience can sort of stand up and quietly walk out and they wouldn't even know. But not
well, that's interesting. So here's something else I also notice, especially with in-person presentations. I notice a lot of presenters, they allow their eyes to just scan the room back and forth, back and forth. It's almost spraying your words across the audience. And the presenter, they don't land.
Yes.
They don't land on one person and build that connection for a few seconds and then pause and go to the next person and share a connection with them. So it's that spraying where really creates that beautiful visual you're talking about. They're not really connecting.
No, it's like
they're paying attention.
They're like a sprinkler. Yeah. They're spraying their gaze around the room. You can even see it watch some TED Talks. You'll see it in TED Talks. Some very good presentations, you'll see that sort of spraying behavior. The really great ones, you will see these naturally gifted communicators. They land and they look and here's my argument for this. We spend so much time as speaking coaches coaching people in their body language, how to use their hands, how to be grounded, posture, facial expressions. Those are all part of body language. But why does that go one way? I mean, if we're speaking with our bodies as speakers, and I think, you and I would agree that I guess the experts have said it's somewhere in the realm of 55% of what we communicate is visual, right? Well, guess what? Even when an audience member is sitting down, their facial expressions, their posture and movement is speaking back to us. I think that's
it's very powerful.
Yeah.
It's very powerful, and you can tell when a presenter is paying attention to the cues that their audience is giving them, because then they know when to pause, stop talking, re-engage, pull their audience into the conversation, or even making light of the situation and saying, oh my gosh, I can tell I'm losing you.
Yeah.
Let me back up. It's really powerful. I've noticed when I sit and I'm part of an audience watching a live presenter, when they're spraying the room with their eye contact, I'm just hoping, please stop and land on me. I really want to build that connection with you. I want you to notice me and make part of this presentation about me.
So let's wrap this one up. What's your takeaway?
My takeaway is pay attention to where your words are landing. Are your words landing on the table, on your notes, on a different monitor? Because wherever your words are landing, that's what you're engaging,
Yeah.
and we want to engage our audience. So it's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional with trying to have your words land on your audience.
Right. All right. There's a target, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I would say again, listen with your eyes. Know that part of the experience of a conversation, of a presentation, the reason we do it is to have an interaction. So the audience feels they're a part of it, not to act like you're a recording of yourself just standing up there like a sprinkler, spraying words all over the place. It's, I am talking to you and you're affecting me while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty magical.
It is, Scott. It's also another way to create conversation, because if you're truly watching your audience and how they are taking in your message, if you see them smiling or head nodding, that's an excellent way to engage them as well.
Yeah. All right. Next week, we are talking about the first step one should take when they're crafting a presentation. So
this is going to be a series, because there are multiple steps in putting together a presentation. So I love that we're starting with the first step.
Yeah.
And
we'll carry everybody through
to learn what it is.
There's a lot to it. So we're gonna take it one little chunk at a time and make sure everybody gets it, because it's a process and it's important.
Beautiful. Can't wait.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good one.
Take care.